Russian swimmer Yulia Efimova was asked a question that really struck a nerve. Now, if you guys can remember, she had to face a 16-month suspension after she tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Now, of course, that suspension is now over, and she's competing. And during a tumultuous press conference, she was asked about, whether or not she should have been banned for life because of her drug use. Okay, so during a contentious press conference after she won the silver medal in the 200-meter breaststroke, she answered the question by saying, "What would she say about Michael Phelps?" She continues, "Of course, I'm not for doping, but I've never used it on purpose. But I know there have been very many occasions where people do it because they don't know or because they're stupid or naive. Of course, she also says, let's go to graphic 9B. There always should be another chance. When you are driving a car and break a rule, you get only a ticket. You don't lose your license for life or get put in jail." So she was, basically talking about Michael Phelps and his that picture that went viral of him taking a bong rip. Which kind of made me like him more. And then, he also got a DUI, which don't drink and drive, obviously. And so she's like, "What's up? How come he's not facing any criticism and I am? Why am I still dealing with this?" Now, of course, you can make the case that on one hand, you have someone who is taking performance-enhancing drugs, and on another hand, you had someone who is taking unenhancing drugs. Exactly. But nonetheless, it's an interesting, comparison. What do you guys think?
I think that she's wrong on every level, and I say it with a degree of, I don't get this Michael Phelps thing, but I get it. He's great, but like enough.
He's won like 22 medals.
He's won like 22 medals. First of all, one quick thing I love most about swimming, and I love all the swimming things, is when they talk about the team. I mean, it's not a team, man. You're just swimming. Like, there's nobody else on the team. It's just you. But no, the difference between taking weed or drunk driving has nothing to do with competition. The performance-enhancing drugs are the sanctity of the competition and the fairness of the competition. So it's different. That said, so here's how you deal with questions about a lifetime ban. You say, "I got punished, and now I'm back." Yeah. That's it. And you get to come back. Yeah. She got punished. She gets to come back.
Okay. Probably going to piss off a lot of people, but I'm from Scotland. I don't care. So, because I'm not part of the UK.
Man. People from Scotland don't give a shit.
You said Scotland.
You're right. So I'm going to step off the star-spangled pedestal for a moment, right? Which I think a lot of people need to for a second. So her response is asinine. It's ridiculous. Weed and alcohol is not going to enhance your performance. But the substances that she has been found guilty for, so I'm going to kind of take you through her history really quick, right?
Yeah, tell me.
So the first situation, which, and she lived in Los Angeles, by the way, for a while, and that's where she's training. So I think she went into a GNC, picked up a substance that she didn't really know. She didn't speak very good English at that time, didn't really know what it was. And that could all just be an excuse, by the way. I don't know the actual facts, but this is what her trainer and everything said. And then she was found guilty for that, having a trace of performance-enhancing drugs, and she was banned. The ingesting of a substance that you don't expect to be a performance-enhancing drug is very similar to Jessica Hardy, who, as we know, US swimmer, who in 2008 was banned. Then she came back, went to the London Olympics, medaled twice. No one was splashing water on her face. No one was booing her around the stands. No one was treating her as some sort of convict that had just been allowed to just come in and participate. The way that this swimmer's been treated, I think, is unsportsmanlike. In and around the pole, she's getting splashed water, she's getting booed, people aren't looking on the eye, right? There's over 200 other athletes that were allowed to participate in the Olympics because the drug that she had taken for the second time, which again, she might have taken knowing farewell that it actually has the ability to enhance your endurance and has the ability to help you in many different ways. The drug is meldonium. Yeah, the drug, that was the first drug. The second time is meldonium, and that's one that Sharapova, the tennis player at the moment, is banned as well for that. So because it was only implied in January of this year, there's cloudiness on how long it takes to get out your system. So they basically just allowed for many athletes to participate in the Olympics because they didn't know if the system was in their drugs before, it was in their system before it, or it was after the situation. So there is still some cloudiness, but that could all just be made up to prevent the fact that she has actually taken drugs in the past. So I'm not making an excuse for her response. Her response is ridiculous. She shouldn't be bringing Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian, again, into that conversation. But her treatment outside of it, I think, has a lot more to do with where she's from.
You think this is Trump's fault? Absolutely, because he rolls with Putin, and that's his bitch. Yes, I get it. I see where you're going
See
with
what I'm
it.
saying?
I
So,
get it.
but in the
Great
Jessica
reference
Hardy,
to a story we didn't get to do today. I love it.
but again, I know it's going to get a lot of hate from the patriotic
But
fans of the United
I'm with
States.
you. And that term you said, that Star Spangled Pedestal, I completely understand what you say when you're saying that, because American athletes in the Olympics are revered to a degree that is, enviable for all other athletes. And I do, but she needs to get a better PR person. The whole excuse about if you drive a car, what
she
you
didn't do it well.
do behind the car? If you hit somebody, you can go to jail.
Yeah.
If you crash another car, it's not that cut and dry. And if you go to GNC and you take something, you are an Olympian.
Yes.
You have to be very particular and specific about what you put in your body,
I didn't even know you could get performance-enhancing drugs
Well,
at
you
GNC.
don't. It's some parts of it that
I get
can
every
be used.
person who's been tested positive for
Yeah, it
performance-enhancing
says
drugs
it.
in the history of the world bought it accidentally at GNC.
No, and I'm not saying I'm not
Damn,
making
GNC
I'm not
is still
making
around.
excuses for her. That's the thing. I'm not making
Nobody
excuses for
shot
her.
it into their arm.
Very
they
true.
all bought
But
it at GNC.
what I'm saying is Jessica Hardy in the 2012 Olympics, and she said that she ingested it without knowing. That was the same excuse. It's just written in paper. Oh, I got found guilty for PADs. All right, no, I had no idea. No idea what was going on. But then because she participated in 2012 and she had time to kind of clear her name, no one treated her any differently.
But
and
we'll
I think
just
that that's
accept
all
the
I'm
fact
saying.
that everyone dopes and then just allow it.
Let it go.
But they
let's
don't.
just.
Yeah.
I remember Haas had made that point on the show, and I thought it was crazy, right? And I was like, this is such a dumb point. Like, what are you talking about? But no, at this point, I'm tired of having conversations about who's doping. Should they dope? When did they dope? Did they dope before? Did they know when they doped? Like, how about they all dope? And let's just move on with our lives.
That's true. I mean, it's true, but that's true that many people think that, except they don't all dope. I mean, and so.
Well, many of them. I was married to a professional athlete as well. Many of them do.
Yes.
There are levels of doping. Clenbuterol versus something at GNC. I want to know who's splashing water in her faces.
Yeah,
The
it's
same
rude.
people who gave her
it's
the
in the same
drugs
person
at
that King,
GNC.
the swimmer who wasn't looking at her, the King that wasn't looking at her in the press conference, and it was just kind
Lily
of this
King, yeah.
vindicated that
Oh,
she
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Lily
this-
King thought she should have been banned for life. And so the same standard should obviously apply to her. But there are villains and heroes, and the villains and heroes sometimes it's all mythology, and
long as
sometimes
they're
it's
not
earned.
American.
I got it, but sometimes the villains are Americans, and certainly the rest of the world, sometimes the villains are Americans, and that's okay. But the Eastern European countries, there's a rich history of cheating, which especially before the fall of the wall. So, I mean, there's no question that the East German women were cheating for years and years and years.
When you look at the list.
So the level of skepticism for Russian athletes, especially Russian athletes under Putin, is probably higher. One great thing, and I just wanted to read what she said, because I love what she said, because it makes me like her, and since we've so I wanted to end at least where we think that maybe Yulia Efimova is human. Sport has helped me tremendously to stay calm. Maybe on the surface I appear calm, but inside everything is just boiling. I learned to control myself, but when I was a kid I would just burst into tears. Now I just stay calm. What are you going to do? So that makes me think maybe you did. Maybe you're one of the 3 people who did buy it at GNC.
Here's what won't happen to you if you're a TYT member.
They're kicking me out the door. They're kicking me out the door.
Well, we're not going to kick you out the door. We welcome you. Be part of independent media. Be the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.